So let's talk about how many lead sources you really need as a real estate agent. The reason we need to be having this conversation is because if you find that you are lacking structure and organization in your follow up, if you find that your deals are becoming really inconsistent, or if you find that you don't really know exactly what you need to be doing each day to actually bringing in clients to your business, then it might be a lead sources problem and we got to figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what most agents do when it comes to their lead sources. A lot of real estate agents don't really get the education or training they need on how to find leads and how to identify specific lead sources. And if you weren't aware, like a lead source is exactly what it sounds like. It's a source of predictable, consistent leads of a similar nature, right? And so we want to make sure that we have our go-to ways in real estate to generate leads consistently so that we can see our business consistently growing the way we want it to grow. But instead, what a lot of agents do is what I like to call the spaghetti on the wall approach. They get out into the wild, they're excited to get into the market, and they start just throwing whatever they can at the wall and hoping that something sticks. They might know they need to be focusing on some kind of lead generation and marketing activity, but it looks more like engaging in one-off activities instead of putting together an actual strategy. And this can become super overwhelming and really lead to burnout. A lot of times when realtors get to the end of a really chaotic or hectic year, they look to the following year and think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that again? How did I even close the deals that I got in the first place? The reason this is a problem is a couple of things. It's going to lead to a lot of waste of time, money, and energy. Now, in terms of money, a lot of agents will invest in lead sources, like looking for online leads or engaging in some kind of like marketing spend without really thinking in the long strategy for it. And sometimes I even see this with farming. Realtors will put down $1,000 to farm their neighborhood, and when they don't see anything from that one mailing of postcards, because they don't have an actual cohesive strategy around it, they give up and move on to the next thing without even giving it the time it needed to turn into a lucrative endeavor for them. So that's number one. You're wasting a lot of money on lead sources that are just not going to go anywhere because you're not putting it together in an actual strategy. It's a one-off. The other thing that happens is it can become a major time and energy suck because you're coming up with activities to do on the fly every single day. And that is exhausting. And let me know in the comments if you've been there, or if I'm like hitting on a nerve here. You might have woken up every single day for the last year or 5 years, and it's the same story. You're opening up your laptop, you're pulling up your inbox, and because you don't know who you need to be speaking to or how many contacts you need to be making or what you need to say, you end up tinkering on Canva for like 6 hours, right? And not really doing anything of consequence for your business. So that's why it's a problem. That's why we need to fix this and have this conversation. And here's what I want you to know. What you got to do instead is you need to have a very specific number of lead sources. You do not need 17 lead sources. You do not need one lead source. You need, in my opinion, after coaching 500 agents through this process, you need 3 solid lead sources for your real estate business. Now, when we're talking about 3 lead sources for your business, we want to have a little bit of a mix in terms of what kinds of leads are coming from those lead sources. You want a mix of lead sources that are going to bring you leads that are ready right now and leads that are ready later. That way, you always have someone in the pipeline ready to go, even if it's 6 months from now or 12 months from now. This is really important, and it's important because a lot of real estate agents want that right now business. They want that like Zillow lead because it is easy to see, it's right in front of them, and they're looking to get into a house at that moment. Like that is something that is easy to handle for most real estate agents. But do not sleep on the lead sources that bring you the leads that are 6 months out or a year out, because the more of those contacts you can get into your pipeline, the more consistent your business is going to be in the long run, because you're not going to be starting over after every right now lead. After you've identified those 3 lead sources, you then need to create a prospecting routine, right? And you can really only create a solid prospecting routine or a money-making routine or power hours, whatever you want to call it. You can really only create that routine once you know who it is you need to be reaching out to or what leads you're generating. This is why a lot of times realtors say that they feel so inconsistent in their business and they lack structure, they lack organization. It's not because you don't know how to manage your time, it's because you don't have anything to manage yet. And so start by identifying those 3 lead sources, and then you can really start to break down a prospecting routine and identify how many people you want to be speaking to every week, and then doing the math a little bit to figure out how many clients ultimately that's going to translate into. The best part of having 3 lead sources as well is once you have that really solid prospecting routine, you can then start to begin tracking your metrics. And then it's just a numbers game at that point. And this is the bread and butter of real estate businesses that just work. It's the real estate businesses that have those 3 solid lead sources, have a prospecting routine, and then have a method to track the numbers from those prospecting activities so that you can do the math and begin to anticipate how many deals you're going to be closing on average each year just based on the number of conversations that you're having. That is how you become a super clear, hyper-focused realtor who knows exactly what you need to do each day and how many people you need to speak to each week to turn into the number of deals that you want to close. Now, one more thing I'm going to mention on this is this does need to be very personalized to you and your business and your setup, right? So depending on what you have available to you, this combination of lead sources or your prospecting routine might look a little different from somebody who's coming from a totally different walk of life. Now, for this to work really, really well, it has to be tailored to you and your business and your market. By that, I mean who it is you're trying to get in front of, what clients you want, or what homes you want to sell. A way that we did this recently with a member from the Market Authority Academy, Caitlin, is that we tailored it specifically to her unique schedule, the area that she wanted to work in, and to optimize the lead sources that were going to convert highest for her, meaning giving her the best chance to close as many deals as possible. And from her feedback, she said, "My favorite thing about doing this with the Market Authority Academy is that Stephanie," it's me, "can help maximize your money-making activities in a way that works for your schedule. There is so much grace for what that personal expectation needs to look like for you individually." And that is what you need to actually stick to it. And so this is my call to action for you. If this is kind of like hitting all the spots for you and you're like, wow, I don't have a consistent routine, and I guess I don't have a routine because I don't know what my lead sources are, and I don't even know where to begin with that. Well, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can figure it out yourself. You can do the DIY approach, which is what I did for years. And it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of time and it's going to be hard, but you can probably figure it out. Or you can get our plans in the Market Authority Academy. We have an entire module in our curriculum designed specifically to help match real estate agents up with what they need for their consistent lead generation and marketing systems. And so if you want somebody to come in and help walk alongside this process with you, to give you the support that you need to finally start closing deals consistently and systemize that so that you can continue to grow, then book a call with me and the Market Authority team in the video description below. That's what I got for you today. And I want to know from you, what are your main lead sources? What are your 3 primary lead sources? Let me know in the comments so I can help support you and cheer you on the whole way. Thanks as always for tuning in. Until next time, keep on crushing it.